Why your avoidant ex actually cried, the shocking truth of their regret. Most people believe that avoidants are cold, heartless, and incapable of true emotion. They assume that when an avoidant walks away, they feel nothing. But here's the shocking truth. Avoidants do cry. They may not cry in front of you. They may not even admit it to themselves. But behind closed doors, when no one is watching, many avoidants shed tears that reveal their deepest regret. The moment an avoidant cries is the moment their carefully built walls start to crack. And today we're going to explore exactly why your avoidant ex actually cried, and what those tears really mean about their hidden feelings and their unspoken pain. The first thing you need to understand is that avoidants don't cry easily. They've spent most of their lives learning how to suppress emotion, how to lock it away, and how to maintain control no matter what. Crying feels dangerous to them because it means vulnerability. Vulnerability to an avoidant equals weakness. So when they do cry, it isn't random. It's triggered by something powerful enough to break through years of emotional defenses. And that trigger is almost always regret. Not just regret about losing you, but regret about the way they sabotaged the very love they craved yet feared. For an avoidant, regret doesn't hit immediately after the breakup. In fact, in the beginning, they may appear fine, almost relieved. They convince themselves that pulling away gave them freedom, space, and independence. But as time passes, reality sets in. The silence grows louder, the freedom feels emptier, and the absence of your presence starts to gnaw at them. That's when they begin to reflect, and for the first time, the truth they've been running from starts to surface. Their tears come when the cost of their avoidance is no longer theoretical. It's real, it's painful, and it's irreversible. One of the main reasons avoidants cry after a breakup is the realization of permanence. See, avoidants often operate with a backup plan mindset. Even after pushing you away, they assume the door will always be cracked open. They believe they can disappear, and you'll still be there if they decide to come back. But when they finally see that you've moved on, or that you're no longer willing to wait, the illusion shatters. That's when regret floods in. And those tears, they aren't just about losing you. They're about losing the safety net they thought they had forever. Another reason avoidants cry is jealousy. Avoidants hate the idea of being replaced. They may not show it outwardly, but deep down, they want to know that you'll always think of them as the one. When they imagine you with someone else, someone who appreciates you, someone who gives you the love they couldn't, they feel a sharp pain they didn't expect. That image lingers in their mind, and it breaks the illusion of control they've always clung to. Tears come when they realize they've made themselves obsolete in your life, and for an avoidant, that's devastating. But perhaps the most shocking reason avoidants cry is because of guilt. Underneath their fear of intimacy is often a deep belief that they are unworthy of love. They push people away not because they don't want connection, but because they fear they will ruin it. So when the breakup happens and they finally sit with the reality of what they've lost, the guilt hits hard. They replay the arguments, the silences, the moments where you begged for closeness and they pulled back instead. And in those moments of reflection, many avoidants cry, not just for you, but for the version of themselves that couldn't love you the way you deserved. Here's something most people never realize. Avoidants don't just cry about the breakup itself, they cry about their childhood wounds. Because the end of a relationship doesn't just remind them of losing you, it triggers memories of every loss, every rejection, every painful moment where they felt unworthy of connection. That's why their tears run deeper than you think. They're not just mourning the end of you and them, they're mourning the cycle they can't seem to break, the loneliness they created for themselves, and the fear that they'll never escape it. Of course, avoidants will rarely admit this to you. If you ever confronted them, they'd likely deny it. They'd put their mask back on and pretend they're fine. But behind that mask is a storm. They cry in secret because showing you their tears feels too exposing. But don't mistake secrecy for absence. The fact that they cry at all proves one thing. They cared more than they let on. Their regret is real, and their emotions, though hidden, are powerful enough to break through years of emotional suppression. Now let's get to the heart of it, the part most people never see. What do those tears actually mean for you? Because here's the truth. When an avoidant cries, it's not always a straightforward sign that they want to come back. Their tears aren't a guarantee of reconciliation. Sometimes their crying has nothing to do with chasing you again. It has everything to do with finally being confronted with themselves. You see, avoidants spend their whole lives building walls, convincing themselves that needing no one is safer than risking closeness. But when you leave, when the silence settles in, those walls crack just enough for them to feel the full weight of what they've lost, and it hits them in waves. The regret is not just about losing your love. It's about losing the one chance they had to feel safe inside intimacy, maybe for the first time in their lives. That's why those tears matter. They are living proof that your presence touched them deeper than their defenses could block. Crying is their confession without words. It's the silent evidence that you were real to them, that you mattered, that the connection you built wasn't just in your head. It left a mark they can't erase. But here's where the path splits. For some avoidants, those tears become a turning point. It's the moment when denial crumbles, and they finally admit to themselves that they pushed away the very person who saw through their armor, who accepted them despite their fears, who gave them a love they didn't know how to handle. That realization can be like a lightning strike. It stirs something raw and desperate inside them, igniting a desire to reconnect, to repair the damage, to finally fight for the love they once ran from. And yet for others, those same tears never leave their pillow. They dry them up, swallow the pain, and retreat deeper into silence. They convince themselves it's safer to disappear than to face their vulnerability. They may distract themselves with work, with casual relationships, with anything that numbs the sting of losing you. But those tears prove that numbness never really won. Behind their carefully polished mask of indifference, the truth lingers. They cared, they still care, and the love they lost isn't something they can simply delete. And here's the shocking truth that most people overlook. Those tears aren't weakness. They're a sign of breakthrough. For an avoidant, every tear shed is a battle fought and a battle won against the prison of their own defenses. It means even if just for a moment their heart was louder than their fear, it means the love you gave them seeped through cracks they swore no one would ever reach. It means that no matter how fast they ran, they couldn't outrun the truth of what they lost. So if you've ever sat there wondering, did my avoidant ex cry when I left? Did they regret it? Did they feel the same pain I felt? The answer is yes. Maybe not in front of you, maybe not in a way you could witness, but behind those walls, behind closed doors, in the quiet moments when no one was watching, the tears fell. And here's the thing. Avoidants don't cry for just anyone. They don't cry for surface-level connections, for people they never let in. They cry only when the loss is real, only when the regret is heavy, only when the love they walked away from turns out to be the very love they needed most but didn't know how to hold on to. So those tears, they're not just water, they're truth. They're the proof that you mattered in ways they may never say out loud. They're the sign that your love was unforgettable, even to the one who tried hardest to forget.